Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Nelson for Catholic Newsbreak. Here's what's happening this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. Setting aside centuries of anger and prejudice, the head of the Russian Orthodox Church and the president of the Polish Catholic Bishops' Conference are urging Poles and Russians to work together to maintain their country's Christian identities. In their joint message entitled Message to the Nations of Poland and Russia, signed August 17th, Patriarch Kirill of Moscow and Archbishop Josef Michalek have opened the doors to dialogue to heal the wounds of the past, overcome mutual prejudice and misunderstanding, and to strengthen their pursuit of reconciliation. The signing of the joint message, which was broadcast live on Polish TV, was the key moment to the first ever visit of a Russian Orthodox patriarch to modern Poland. Polish Catholic and Russian Orthodox officials had been preparing the statement for more than 2 years in an effort to overcome historical grudges between the two nations and long-standing tensions between the faithful of the Russian Orthodox Church and the Polish Catholic Church. In news now from around the world, Pope Benedict XVI will travel to Lebanon September 14 for a 3-day visit. During his trip, the Pope will present a major document addressing concerns expressed at the 2010 Synod of Bishops on the Middle East. On September 15th, he's expected to meet with about 30,000 young people at Bakirki, the patriarchal seat of the Maronite Catholic Church, which is north of Beirut. Father Tufik Bohadir, president of the Maronite Patriarch's Youth Department, has been planning the visit with a team of youth representatives from Lebanon's Catholic rites, as well as representatives of a number of groups, including scout associations, apostolic movements, religious and seminarians, and representatives of other Mideast countries. Despite instability from Syria that has spilled across Lebanese borders, preparations for the trip are underway, and the Pope Mobile has already been shipped to Lebanon. Of Lebanon's population of nearly 4 million, approximately 1/3 is Christian. Catholic churches will be conducting a novena of prayer for the 9 days before the Pope's visit. And news now from Castel Gandolfo. Every week the Pope prays the Angelus in front of the faithful gathered outside his residence. But what is its purpose and where did it come from? Rome Reports explains the origins of the Angelus and its historical ties to the papacy.
Every Sunday at 12 in the afternoon, the Pope prays the Angelus with pilgrims that gather in St. Peter's Square. When he's away on holidays, he still holds these prayers at his residence of Castel Gandolfo. But how does this prayer differ from others? The Angelus recalls the moment of the Incarnation, when the angel Gabriel told the Virgin Mary that she was to be the mother of Jesus. Since the days of the early Christians, it has been customary to remember this moment in the life of the Virgin Mary. Over the centuries, the tradition developed to pray 3 Hail Marys, and since the 16th century, 3 sentences were added. Pope John XXIII began to recite it on Sundays and holidays in St. Peter's Square, before each blessing. This marked the beginning of the tradition of praying the Angelus that continues to this day. The only time of year when the Angelus is not recited is after Holy Week. During Easter, the Angelus is replaced by the Regina Coeli, a prayer that recalls the resurrection of Jesus and continues until the Feast of Pentecost.
Looking now at news from around the country, the Archdiocese of Atlanta has been given a 50% share of the trademark in literary rights to Gone with the Wind. The rights come with a substantial gift from the estate of Margaret Mitchell's nephew, Joseph, who died in October of 2011. The estate of Joseph Mitchell included a multi-million-dollar bequest to the Archdiocese and the donation of his home in Atlanta. Mitchell was a member of the Cathedral of Christ the King and asked that, if possible, his donation assist the cathedral in a particular way. The inheritance passed on to the Archdiocese includes a collection of signed Gone with the Wind first editions and an unpublished history of the Mitchell family, handwritten by Margaret's father, Eugene Muse Mitchell. Also in the inheritance was a library of books, which includes histories and signed first editions of the late Georgia Catholic author Flannery O'Connor's novels and short stories. With the 50% share, the Archdiocese is entitled to continuing revenue from sales of books and merchandise and participation in protecting the copyright of Margaret Mitchell's legacy. Gone with the Wind was first published in 1936. It sold 176,000 copies at its original release and was a runaway success. According to Publishers Weekly, by the end of 1938, more than 1 million copies had sold. That number doubled after the release of the movie in 1939. Today, 30 million copies have been sold worldwide. The book sells an estimated 75,000 copies every year. The copyright terms ends in the United States in 2031, 95 years after the first publication. And finally in the news, Henry Hercs has passed away at the age of 79. He died from complications of liver cancer. Hercs spent 35 years reviewing movies and television for the Catholic Church. Hercs also edited several editions of the Family Guide to Movies and Videos, the last edition of which was published in 1999. His one-sentence paragraphs pulled few punches in informing readers not only of the moral quality of a film, but whether it was worth seeing by an audience. In addition, Hercs taught classes in film at DePaul University in Chicago and Fordham University in New York. Beginning in 1964, Hercs reviewed movies for the Legion of Decency for 5 years in Chicago before its film department was merged into the National Catholic Office for Motion Pictures, which later changed to the Office for Film and Broadcasting of the U.S. Bishops' Conference. Hercs estimated that by the time he retired at the end of 1999, he had seen 10,000 of the 12,000 movies in the office's data bank. Well, that is all the information we have for you this time. Please stay with Catholic TV for more Catholic news. Until then, I'm Kevin Nelson, and I'll see you next time on Catholic Newsbreak.